something that came up recently talking to people is the point that Platonism is solipsism. It is a form of solipsism. Now, of course, this didn't go over well because Platonists do not believe that they are solipsists. And they also cling to the traditional notion that if you don't espouse being a solipsist, then you're not a solipsist, even though Platonists do have a habit of accusing other people of being solipsists when they don't espouse it. So there's some weird fuckery going on there. But like, yeah. So what they'll do? So let's consider just Platonist realism as a starting point. Platonist realism, right? So you've got this like ideal, the existence of like ideal forms, right? They don't exist in your mind and they don't exist physically, but they exist somehow, right? Like 7, the number 7 exists somehow, but it doesn't exist in your mind. And of course, a Platonist will say, well, because we don't posit that it exists in your mind, it can't be solipsism, right? There's a problem though, because they still argue with people about shit. They still argue with you about what the ideal forms are. If the ideal forms are real, why would you ever need to do that? So it's still a view that what they imagine to be true is the only true reality, which is solipsism, fundamentally. They're denying that other people's minds are like working correctly or exist or something, right? That's solipsism. Only their minds and their training and their tradition perceives things correctly. Right. And it's sort of a subtle point, and it's not like a full-blown like, oh, everything. It doesn't apply to everything, right? But solipsism almost never does, right? In practice, the default position about anything when you learn something new is you are very, very solipsistic about this, right? Look at a little kid. When you teach them something, they'll come home and they'll be like, oh, hey, Grandpa, hey, Mom, hey, Dad, did you know this? Hey. And they will expect that they didn't, right? Little 5-year-old kid comes home, just learned how to write the letter A. Hey, Dad, did you know this is how to write the letter A? Do it like this. And if they do it kind of weird, and like Dad says, oh, it might be a little easier if you do it this way, they'll be like, no, that's not how you do it, right? That's the default position on fucking everything is solipsism, right? So it's always mixed. It's always a mixed bag. Even people who are actually solipsists will argue with you about things. So clearly it doesn't apply across the board, even when solipsism is espoused. So being able to note that, wait a minute, the basic tenets of Platonism are solipsistic, yeah, that's kind of important. And it is. It's fundamentally, it is solipsistic, as you can see, because they are positing that they have this unique Gnostic access to this magical realm through their mind. So only their mind is real. Like, they're the only one that really exists. That's what they're saying. That's solipsism.